extremely P voice. I am the 15th letter of the alphabet. We're back with more lies of P. It's a little bit of a cerebral joke for you. You know what I realized, by the way? We have reached I think that we've screwed up society. I could easily count which letter of the alphabet P is, but instead I Googled it. I Googled what letter of the alphabet is P. And the messed up thing is that it saved me probably like 4 seconds in doing it. But I also got served 9 advertisements simultaneously. This is why the United States of America is the most powerful economic force on earth. Rather than count to 15, I chose to ask Google the question, and I got served 8 advertisements for air fryers and blow-up mattresses simultaneously. Just me Googling that question added like 11 cents to the GDP. That's capitalism, baby. How we doing here? We smoking that... I can't even remember the lie. I shouldn't even say it, man. I'm not Dracula, so I'm not doing Flow 3. Let me tell you, my wife's been playing Lies of P. First thing I saw, she's a smart lady. We should have our grinder on the lower belt instead of the upper belt. That way, we can easily swap back between them at a whim. I thought O was the 15th. So lies of P. These are lies of... P is lying all the time. I saw a Coney tweet, and I've never empathized or sympathized with a streamer's tweet more. He said, sometimes I feel like I'm laying it on too thick for a bit on Twitch, and then I see the reaction to it, and I realize, I mean, now I'm paraphrasing, but essentially, you cannot make a punchline obvious enough on this website. You have to hit them with the Rainier Wolfcastle at the end and go, that's the joke. Okay, I will teleport to another stargazer. Thank you. We've just defeated the Archbishop at his altar. And we out here. It's so false in the P. How the frick are we supposed to keep peace when all on a puppet's mind is dodging and lying and telling lies? Nice sweater, thank you. It's $9.99 H&M. Not trying to flex on them. This is the wrong direction. What savings? I mean, it was a crazy deal. Who gives a frick if I go blind? I ain't need to see the price tag. Alright. Wait a minute. Is this a Dark Souls 2? Have I just gone down? I've gone up into a lava castle. You can just walk over it. I really like, well, I wouldn't say Dracula Flow 3 fits the bill, but I would say the holy trinity of rap videos on YouTube now. You gotta put Dracula Flow 3 up there. You have to put worst freestyle rap battle of all time in there. That's Envy versus Eli. Hello. And you absolutely have to put Raindrop versus Mike Glambin in there. And I would say that's all you need, man. That's everything.
On the bright side, I guess the whole city of Kron's pretty much like that now.
Eminem versus IBS.
The old town caught up with the new. It's true.
Super Hot Fire. Super Hot Fire, I guess, is a classic. I'll just level with you. I saw Super Hot Fire when I lived in Korea. A coworker showed it to me. And as soon as I saw it, I said, this is basically the dumbest video I've ever seen in my entire life. I didn't get it at all. and then I slept on it, and the next day I just started quoting it nonstop. It was a little cerebral. It took a day of digestion in order to get the intellectual glucose into the system, but once it was in there, it stuck in there pretty good. What the hell's going on, man? What are we doing out here? Wow! Okay. I'm dead. I'm extremely alive. And I'm in your house, killing your dudes. Get out of here, Dr. Octopus! Okay, this is not where I wish to engage in fisticuffs with you. That's right. Get scared. That's bad. Oh, man. Deltron 3030 coming to Bellingham. You regret writing us off yet? That's going to be the biggest show in Bellingham history, without a doubt, next to the Tulip Festival. Pretty excited for that. What is he playing at the Bellingham Co-op Foods Memorial Center? Recently refurbished and now has a maximum capacity of 750. Okay, I guess I'll just die to the dad from Little House on the Prairie. This guy hates small towns. I'm probably one of the biggest Jason Aldean fans out there. Wait, is Jason Aldean the head of the United Auto Workers, or am I confused? Ooh, acidic crystal spear blade. That's Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo has just fallen down the stairs of the United Auto Workers strike in Dearborn, Michigan. Hang on, can I have a dim ergo fragment, if you don't mind? A little saw blade that I wish you saw. That spear handle's great for decks. You know what? Good to know. Is it better than my umbrella? I'd be surprised. My frames! Go ahead. Oh, no, here we go again. Oh, lost ergo proffered. Ergo tonight, king. Wait, there's a bear trap there. Ergo tonight, Borat 2 tonight, queen. Borat 2 tonight. Oh! Hey, come over here. I'm a genius. You must be stupid. You forgot that I'm him. Okay, you got me, kid. Pretty strong lad there, no doubt about that. You must have amnesia. Sorry, I haven't seen the video 40 times. The bear respawns every time? Yeah, I'm familiar. Did you know you can use your souls to either purchase items or alternatively to level up your statistics? Did you know that if you pass through a fog wall, you will typically fight a large enemy known as a boss that has a higher degree of difficulty on average than random enemies? Whoops. Did you know you can use more than one slurp juice on a single ape? I don't want to bum you guys out, but do you ever think about the fact that you'll never be 13 years old in 2017 and then see a tweet that says Fortnite Battle Royale just dropped, and by the way, it's free, and then you go try it out for yourself, and it's the greatest summer vacation of your entire life? Where's the bear? Don't say Disney Plus. It's on Hulu, not in Canada, motherfucker. Jesus Christ. Bear me? You know what? Give me one of these. Philadelphia? Was that a season 2 spoiler? I thought the bear was a Chicago classic. I thought it was like Scandal or Empire. Which Industry? Which one takes place? The Good Wife? The Good Wife takes place in Chicago. So true. Did you see the tweet that said it sucks so much that America's such a big country, but it only has 2 skylines worth showing in movies? And then everyone knows that one of them is New York City. That's not even up for debate. But there was a lot of discussion about what the second one was. I clocked it. If you ask me the 2 most noteworthy skylines in America, it's New York and Chicago, man. It's like one of the only times you would ever have an establishing shot of a city in the United States, and as a non-American, you would be like, oh, this movie's set in Chicago. Seattle's is fine. Nothing against. It's got mountains. It's got water. It's got the Space Needle. I like Seattle. I like San Francisco. It's got a big bridge. Shut up. It's got 2 big bridges. Okay? LA, bad skyline. Definitely well, like, considering the size of the city, at least. Okay, we're gonna own you this time. Give me some stam. Okay. Bad. Bad. I'm chipping. Oh! Progress. This guy's nothing. Thanks for the star fragment. I will say there were a lot of people. If you get owned by a comment that's like, you know, there's only 2 cities in America that have a noteworthy skyline, the worst thing you can do, and I'm so sorry to tell you this, is say like, yeah, but what about mid-sized city I live in? The people from New York are seeing the tweet and they're looking at it and they're laughing and they're going, can you believe they really stepped in here and said, you know, what about Lansing? Can you believe they really dropped a, hey, like I know New York's pretty impressive, but you're kind of sleeping on Dayton, Ohio. Like you just don't do it. You're not going to win against the New Yorkers in this unique situation, okay? You got to just, you can love your city, that's fine. I didn't step in there and say, yeah, what about Vancouver? Honestly, the downtown Vancouver skyline is merely adequate. You know, it's not one of those situations where you typically see the skyline. Well, I mean, if anything, you typically see it filmed as if it's a different city in movies such as Catwoman. Mountains do go pretty hard, though. Tomb Slums entrance. Why is Vancouver's population so small? Well, I think there's a lot of, I think first we got to establish what population means and what small means, okay? There's 800,000 people in the city proper. The metro area, though, has like 2 million. So it's definitely more spread out than something like you know, like a Singapore or a Hong Kong or something like that, obviously. I would also say, you know, in historical context, Vancouver is a relatively recent city, you know, only established like 150 years ago. Obviously, there were people living here before that, but in terms of like, you know, the Canadian context of sending settlers here to populate it as much as possible, you know, I mean, we're not talking about Montreal here, where people were hanging out and listening to La Corde du Bois circa 1641 or something, right? Try that in a small town. A lot of urbanist YouTubers consider Vancouver one of the best cities in North America. People on the Vancouver subreddit definitely hate living here. It's got its problems, but I think it's pretty nice. Sometimes I think if you don't leave, then you forget that it's good, and then you go to like some other places. It's like the quote that's like, you know, oh, it's the worst city except for every other city I've been to. But then people always do this shit too. Like they live in Vancouver, which has, again, in the city proper, it has 800,000 people. And they're like, why does the transit shut down at night? I just got back from Tokyo and they have 14 subway lines. Like this is ridiculous. And you're like, yeah, they have fucking 100 million people or whatever living in the metropolitan area. Don't do us a disservice. You don't compare Vancouver to Tokyo. You compare Vancouver to like, you know, Austin, Texas, or Seattle, compare it to Portland, the third largest city in, you know, Western European countries. Schoolie. Vancouver versus Seattle, who wins? I mean, no, my controller! Help me! Get up! My controller! My controller! George! It's not turning on. I'm dead. Okay. I mean, it just turned off there. Yeah, Denver, sure, you can compare me to Denver. I don't mind that. To be fair, Copenhagen has Vancouver's population, and the transit's open 24 hours. To be fair, Tokyo has, you know, 70 times Vancouver's population. The trains stop at midnight. Why? I don't know, because they don't have them driven by robots, because they need good jobs for their increasingly aging population, I guess. Something to do with that. Maintenance? Yeah, probably maintenance. I don't know, that makes way more sense. It might surprise you, I don't work in the business. Yeah, what do you want me to do about it, man? I would love it if the trains... Oh, motherfucker. I would love it if the trains were open 24 hours. Unfortunately... Hey! Unfortunately, my ass voted to increasingly fund TransLink in the referendum we had in like 2018. Fucking 70% of the city voted it down. So eat shit, lads. I'll see you in my car. When in break, your character's HP recovery immediately decreases. I know I've said this before, but I think every time I've ever voted in a referendum, the side I voted for lost. 2 elections, 2 referendums provincially in order to get rid of first past the post voting and instead move to proportional representation. Both failed. TransLink's referendum to like, I was going to be like $3.75 increase to your property tax or something like that to have trains that fly through the air. And I said, that's a pretty good deal. 70% of the city said, eat shit. That's $3.75. I could be spending at JJ Bean. And of course, when I was a young lad in Trois-Rivières, when I voted for Quebec to become its own country, I was in the 49.8%. Yeah. You must have amnesia. You forgot that I'm him. Friendly fire? Deserve to die, but I'm alive. Deserve to die, but I'm alive. Horrible. Oh, I'm alive. Get broken. Hey, Sunken Sunskinza. Thanks for the gifted subscriptions. Thank you. Is Quebec separatism based or not based? Like some issues in life, I think it depends if you're from Quebec. It's a hot button issue. Tell me what to think. I don't know. I was like 7 when they had the referendum. It's not really based. But did you ever think that if Quebec successfully separated from Canada, we would have to listen to half as many announcements on the airplane because they would only have to do them in English instead of English and French? You ever think about that? Oh, but the ruinous effects on the economy and our national identity. Brother, I'm just trying to watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 without getting interrupted 17 times because they're trying to sell me like a Chase Visa card, okay? So true. Hey, I know you've been in the air for 3 hours now. You must be bored. You ever think about just getting like a brand new credit card? Can I say something that might offend you, depending on, where you land on this issue? I kind of feel like the most degenerate thing you can do is buy duty-free. If you buy duty-free in the airport, that's fine. It's not my favorite shop because I don't want Johnny Walker or perfume or like a watch or something like that. But if you're the person who buys the duty-free from the catalog in the seat back and then has the flight attendant deliver you your duty-free stuff, I think that's a little bit of degenerate behavior. That's my stepmom. They don't have it in the plane? No, okay. You get it like at your luggage pickup or whatever. It is cheaper. Duty-free is cheaper for sure. But the real value of duty-free is when you're crossing at Peace Arch, the biggest crossing in Western Canada. You're crossing the Canada-US border. Sometimes there's like a 2-hour lineup in order to get across the border. But if you take the little flex lane, you go to the duty-free, buy a $40 bottle of something, get your bag, the parking lot exit is on like the far end closer to the border. You can skip like an hour of the line and also get something cheap that maybe you didn't want anyway, but you're paying for a fast pass. No, you're the worst. Bro, I can't go without my Johnny Walker Red. I can. And if I just what do you want me to do? Go out from the interior, the way that you go in? You can't do it. They have the spikes. It can't be done. If it's cheap, why don't people just buy everything at the airport? Well, they don't sell groceries there. All they ever sell is alcohol, cigarettes, perfume, jewelry, and like smoked salmon nuggets for some reason. And I don't know how long you could live on that. Hang on. Do you see what I see? Oh! That's actually very needed loot. That's high value loot, bro. Just got here, +2 for the title. We have a vexillologist in the building. Hello, I forgot about you. I don't know what a vexillologist is. Isn't it something to do with letters, right? Flags! Tables! It's insane how much you suck versus how cool you look. Never mind. Little greed. Little greed. Wait, this game's actually good? Listen, I don't blame you for being surprised. But yes, it's very, very good. I mean, look at this. The elevators come down. I don't have to reset the elevator every single... I guess they came up this time. Hey, now, what kind of guy are you? The guy who, after the plane lands, waits patiently for 15 minutes like a normal person, or stands up with his head cocked to the side like a psycho, waiting for people to get off? I'm definitely the guy who waits like a normal person. I do not stand up as... And it... Help me. It certainly does annoy me when... Like, I feel like if we all just stayed sitting, there would be no problems. But if the person in the row across from you gets up, you feel like you have to get up too, because now you're in an arms race. Like, standing up when the plane lands, if you gotta do it to stretch your legs, then whatever. But, like, I think at the end of the day, if you're doing it to get off the plane faster, I think it probably saves you, like, literally a second and a half. You get to be the first person of the 6 people in your row to get off the plane. Me, personally, I'll just be second in line and not have to stand up and go like this and have people, like, drop their suitcases from the overhead on my head for 15 minutes. Also, I hate to say it, there's a level of decorum that has been lost on air travel. It's extremely simple, okay? You deload the plane from front to back. That means even if your ass is in... If you're in 15C and you've been standing up for 15 minutes, you wait until the person in 14A gets off before you get on. There's... Especially, like, if they've got to grab... Like, the reason that it might seem like I'm taking too long is because I didn't get my shit out of the overhead bin as soon as we landed. You know why I didn't get that shit out of the overhead bin? Because the second the seatbelt sign went bing bong, the businessman next to me, who's like 6'5", 240 pounds, immediately shoved his ass into the row and opened the overhead bin, took out all his luggage, and then stood there with 6 duffel bags blocking me so I couldn't stand up until he got off. You just wait 3 seconds for the person to get out. They grab their bag. They walk out. It's no problem. I do the same thing for the people who are in front of me. He got off before you? Yeah, probably because he needs to take like a fat dump. So like I give him all the credit in the world. That's what happens when you order 8 Tom Collinses on a 4-hour flight. Nice try. Good start. I haven't earned my Estus yet. We need one perfect first. I've earned it. No! Nintendo ass USB-C. Adult-only flights, what are your thoughts? Adult-only movie theaters, I'm totally fine with. But I mean, like, I think if you think that children are the worst part of movie theaters, you haven't been to see a movie with, like, 22-year-olds in a long time. They are also really annoying in the movie theater. Like, my advice to you is if you don't want, like, little kids in your movie theater, go see movies that are made for adults. You know? If you're going to see The Flash in theaters and you're like, there's a 9-year-old kid in here annoying me, well, then fucking go see Killers of the Flower Moon or something like that, okay? It's that simple. My ass is not going to go see, you know, Infinity War in theaters and then be like, oh, there's a 12-year-old here, you know? That's his movie. This is his Godfather Part 2. Now, adult-only flights is insane. I think that that's like you want the benefit of living in a society, but you don't want to pay the toll of living in a society, which is like your needs are accommodated for by other people, and then you conversely accommodate other people's needs. Your ass didn't invent the plane. Your ass didn't build the plane. The Wright brothers built the damn airplane. If you buy your own Cessna and fly it, sure, you could say no kids allowed in the Cessna. But if Air Canada bought the damn, you know, Boeing 737, I'm taking my kid to... They're always like, oh, there's a kid on my flight. It's so annoying. I'm going to Universal Studios Japan. What are they doing that's important? I don't know, seeing their great-grandma for like maybe the first and only time in their life. That's stupid, bro. I'm going on the Jaws ride before it gets decommissioned. I'm doing important stuff here. -2, no kids should be allowed on airplanes? This is insanity. You're 21 years old. It's like when people like turn 18 and the first thing they do is change their Twitter profile to say no minors allowed. Listen, if I could ban one group of individuals from flying, it wouldn't be like children wholesale, partly because I also have a child. I would ban people who line up an hour before they even open the door, completely ignoring what zone they are on their boarding pass. That's way more disruptive to the overall efficiency of the flight than like a kid saying goo goo gaga. I mean, you just, like, I've been there, you know? I understand. You're 22, okay? You're like, oh, I'm so inconvenienced by the fact that, like, this baby's crying. Yeah, I have noise-canceling headphones, but it uses, like, way more battery life to use my noise-canceling function. I was hoping to keep audio pass-through, so when the flight attendant came around, I could still easily hear them asking me whether I want pretzels or chips. without having to kill my battery life. Plus, sometimes if I have to take my headphones out, it accidentally hits capacitive touch and then it goes forward 15 seconds and then it takes me 5.5 minutes to actually get back to where I was in the podcast that I was listening to. Anyway, regardless, that's because, like, to be honest, looking back, at least me at age 22 was probably like the most entitled I hope I will ever be in my entire life. You know, your brain is fucking sparking up, man. You got like all the neurologic capacity and bandwidth and throughput you're gonna have in your entire life. And the biggest inconvenience that at least that I suffered on a daily basis, was like, if it was just me in this establishment, like I could do this shit in a third of the time. But like, it's gonna happen to you, man. It's not happening to me just yet. That's not going so well. But I definitely, you know, you see people in their 40s, their 50s and older, they start to get a little bit slower, you know, a little bit more intimidated by the technology. I promise it'll happen to you as well. It's not just because you're not keeping current. It's because of the fact that, you know, you're getting older. Just the way of the world. Now, do the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s not also deserve to fly on the airplane just because they wouldn't be able to tell you what their favorite A24 movie is? Yeah, of course. Even if it's like mildly inconveniencing to you. Or me, for that matter. I mean, you could huff or you could puff, don't get me wrong. You can, it's your right to be annoyed, but I think it's kind of insane to be like, no, the airline should be for me and only people like me over and over. Like, that's crazy. Silence, I own you. You must be amnesiac. You forgot that I'm him. Oh, I forgot that I'm him. Why? Why would I attack there? I mean, like, I think if it's just a vacation, that's one thing. Like, if you have, there's adult-only cruises. There's adult-only resorts. I think that's no problem. You're staying there for like 4 days, 2 weeks. Sure, why not? There's plenty of places you can go if you have kids. I don't want to go to like an adults-only resort with my kid. Probably be a bunch of dudes with beards vaping. Like, there's not going to be a single person in like a mascot costume that my kid is going to want to take a photo with. If they are in a mascot costume, I'll have to be like, honey, come here. We're leaving. We're going back to the room. I also, and lest ye call me too based, but I'm going to say it anyway, I wouldn't mind if they said, hey, you know, on this particular flight, everybody that has a child under the age of 5 or whatever has to sit in rows 60 to 45 or something like that. Put us all in the back of the plane where all the babies can annoy each other. I got no problem with that. But like, planes are like a necessary part of the international transportation network, man. This ain't like Sandals Resort. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Thoughts on planes with a smoking section? I don't live in North Korea, so I've never experienced that. I don't get the joke. The joke is that smoking has been banned on all airplanes for like, I don't know, in North America for like 50 years. This begs the question, is international travel really required? First off, welcome Take the Purple Pill. You always know we're having like an anti-natalist discussion when Take the Purple Pill chimes in. That's the only time I see you is whenever we're talking about maybe we shouldn't have the death penalty for parents whose babies cry on airplanes. Secondly, you think I don't remember you? Secondly, nobody said international travel. And yeah, sometimes international travel is required, man. You gotta go visit family. What's more important than having your kid, you know, go visit relatives that maybe they're only gonna see one time in their life? People be like, oh, that 4-year-old should never be able to visit their great-grandma in Korea. They don't deserve the right, bro. I'm going to the Twice concert. This is important, man. International airplanes are for important stuff. Not the 92-year-old great-grandmother seeing, you know, her great-grandchild perhaps for the only time in her entire life. It's for cool stuff like landing and being like, holy cow, everything here is way better than it is in my home country. Immediately, with absolutely no knowledge of the stress that people who are actually native to the country go through on a daily basis. It's for being perpetually enamored with the novelty of a new place. You don't want to start doing, you know, who has valid travel. Because there's like, I mean, business travel is insane to me. You know that we got people flying around releasing carbon dioxide, basically just to accomplish what they could do with a phone call? Some of those same people are like, oh, there was a baby on my flight. Bro, you just emitted like a ton of CO2 into the atmosphere to like shake someone's hand. Or to go to a video game convention. Like, let's not, oh, there was a baby on my flight. I'm headed to PAX West to watch someone from Ubisoft do a controlled demo of Assassin's Creed 7. Come on, this keeps the economy going, man. I commute from the southeast to the northeast simply to micromanage. I know it's not your choice, you know. I know it's the... Well, you might enjoy it. I mean, honestly, I like flying. So I'm not going to say, like, you shouldn't be on the flight. Remember, it's the people who said babies shouldn't be allowed to fly in the first place. So who should be allowed to fly? Anybody for any reason, as far as I'm concerned, as long as they extend the same courtesy to everybody else. Babies shouldn't be allowed to drive. Now that's damn true. Well, unfortunately, based on a lot of videos I've seen online, it's hard to enforce. You staller. I'm insane. I'm dead. Never mind. Insanely dead. I'm just saying, like, it's an... You're not going to like this because it's an ad hominem attack, okay? If Redditors could choose who would fly on airplanes, it would only be 18 to 30-year-old men with a bachelor's degree in science, technology, engineering, or manufacturing, okay? I'm sorry. Every single flight, it would be established by meritocracy. You would have a Royal Rumble-style debate to determine who gets to sit in the exit row. And they wouldn't need individual seatback entertainment. They could go back to the one big screen at the front of the airplane, and they could just play Yu Yu Hakusho over and over again. And maybe that's what you want, and that's okay. I'm simply saying, you know, I want the benefit of a diverse society. That includes babies on airplanes. It includes people whose travel is none of my business, quite frankly. It includes slow-ass elderly people, might be going to visit family or you know, go to Paris for the first time in their life they've always dreamed of and finally got the opportunity to do. You know, I'm not gonna rain on somebody's parade. Hey, Ambrosia. Thanks for the gifted subscriptions, by the way. Thank you. Don't attack me just yet. I got you this time. I think where people get it twisted, in my opinion at least, is like they think that everything that you can complain about is something that should be fixed. My perspective is that you should be able to recognize logically if a complaint is actually that bad or if it's just you being a baby. If a complaint is that bad, it's worth trying to fix. But if a complaint is just you being a baby, holy cow, the locked door was right next to the key we got. That's incredible. Then you should take that as a blessing because of the fact that I think the human brain is wired to just complain about the worst thing that it sees in its purview. So what I try to do, and it doesn't always succeed, but what I try to do to maintain perspective is like if someone is annoying me because like, you know, their baby's crying or something like that, or they took, why are you taking so many suitcases on the airplane? It made me take like another 9 minutes to check in or something like that. I'm like, I guess it could be worse, you know, I could be like in a hurricane or something like that, or in an earthquake, or I could be hungry, or I could have like slept worse last night, or, I mean, this isn't even getting into like I could have some sort of terrible, you know, affliction or something like that. I'm not saying you should never complain because people have it worse. I'm just saying if you start from the framework of you will always want to complain about the worst thing that you see in your current field of reference, you can then walk it back a little bit and be like, does this actually matter? That's my 2 cents. How's this SAP Weekly? Speaking frankly, it's the worst one they've done since Ranked came out. And it shouldn't be allowed on airplanes. Also, like, again, don't forget, I've been there. I've been child-free, 22, I got the whole world figured out, I'm the only person who's got it figured out. Why don't we just remake, why don't you just make me the CEO of the universe, and I'll make everything exactly as perfect as it is, as it could possibly be for me and me alone. Because right now, it's only 99% of the way there. We should have a separate line for people who are fast at doing things and a line for people that are slow at doing it. I mean, I probably said that like a week and a half ago. But you also, and again, I don't think people are good at this in general, myself included. It takes practice. But like, you know, you gotta have some empathy. Like when I was a young adult, I'd fly on an airplane. If a baby ever laughed, I would be like, man, that baby's like annoying as hell. Now that I have a baby, I'm like, oh shit, I was an asshole. They can't control the baby laughing on the airplane. They can't control the baby crying. You know, they could, if the baby poops in their diaper, they should definitely change it faster than, like, you shouldn't be able to smell that stuff like 15 rows away. But like, there's only some things you can do within reason, right? That's the good thing about the self-checkout. Well, I get annoyed at the self-checkout because honestly, there's some people at the self-checkout that have no business being there. This is the hypocritical part for sure. I'm not saying maybe you should have to pass a little bit of a test to be able to use the self-checkout. Did you know at Uniqlo, apparently, this is secondhand information from Joe Weisenthal, apparently at Uniqlo, you can just put your basket of clothes on the scanner and it will scan everything for you. You don't have to scan the items individually. That's crazy, dude. I mean, I don't think it's new technology, but it's definitely sick technology. Whatever happened to that the Amazon grocery store, man? That you're just supposed to be able to put the stuff in your cart and then walk out. It seemed like that was coming out like next year, 10 years ago. Silence, I own you. Too many people stealing? Isn't it unstealable? Like, as soon as something's in your cart, it's like the only grocery store you can't steal from because they scan it on the way out and automatically charge you. It's around, it exists. Dude, they gotta bring that here.
Now, here's a safety reminder for all the malcontents of the Marlin district. A nasty puppy.
We have one in Chicago, fuck Vancouver. Bro, I'm sorry! DL Guiga, I'm sorry I did the Cody Rigsby ride where he talks about boxers and he doesn't realize that it's the dog, not the underwear. I'm sorry. I took the Hannah Frankson ride where she says, do you know this one? Nobody in the control room knew about this one. And then she plays How Bizarre by OMC. I'm sorry I ran back those two. It wasn't intentional. I just like the programming on those rides, okay? I even sent you a high five right when Hannah Frankson said nobody except for me remembers this song because I remember you bringing it up in chat and I was like, it's true. How does she think that nobody knows How Bizarre? It's got to be like one of the top 250 songs of the 90s. There's no fall damage. Kate, you don't try that with me, okay? I try that with you. You don't try that with me. The egg carton went crazy on the Cody Rigsby ride. Keith Jr., let me just tell you, okay? If you got to know where you exist in the Peloton strata, okay? Me, you, and DL Guiga, we're in a tier together, more or less, okay? If you see Kip Casper and Cosmo Kramer join the ride, don't even try to keep up with them. I feel like Kip Casper's and Cosmo Kramer, their 30-minute PB is like in the mid 500s, right? It's like 550, 570, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, I'm telling you for the sake of your own legs. If you can keep up with them, by all means keep up with them, but don't hurt yourself trying to do it. I've made the mistake myself in the past. It's going to take a few years of training and them stagnating for me to get there. Hello. I am going to level up. Just did my first Samyo 30-minute ride, so I'm pretty happy.